In this edition of INN CEO Talks, I'm joined by Cory, Belyk, the CEO and Executive Vice President of CanAlaska Uranium. And of course, we are talking about the company's uranium projects. Cory, welcome.
Well, thank you, Stuart. It's great to be here and talk about CanAlaska and our exciting portfolio that we have in front of us. It's amazing times in the nuclear space, and it's only going to get better.
Exciting is right. You've got land, you got people, you got opportunity. Bring us up to date on, your company structure and, what you're hoping to achieve as far as discoveries for shareholders.
Oh, absolutely. We've got a great 2022 in front of us in 2023. We just came off a very successful 2021 where we had 3 new mineralized intersections on 3 separate projects, all in 2021. We kicked it off early in the year with Waterbury South, drilled brand new polymetallic uranium mineralization right near to the Cigar Lake mine. We followed that up in the summer at our West McArthur project, where we've been drilling for a number of years high-grade mineralization up to 8% uranium, just 12 kilometers from the McArthur River mine, the world's largest and highest grade uranium deposit in the world, owned by Cameco. And then in the fall, our new joint venture partnership with Denison resulted in 2 new uranium intersections on our Moon Lake South joint venture. Again, first drill holes under that joint venture that returned mineralization in 2 separate areas along that trend. So we're really excited about what happened in 2021 for the company. And we've been working hard to develop the team, rebuild the team at CanAlaska that can go out and continue to make these discoveries. And we've brought in talent from Cameco and Orano that wanted to join us, in large part because of our portfolio and what they saw in front of us for the uranium market. We've been adding some very key junior exploration staff fresh out of university and some with some experience that really can help move all these projects forward. So we're working hard to develop that team that can execute on our mandate of discovery. And then the land. We've got over 300,000 hectares of land, principally in the eastern Athabasca, where all the production comes from right now in the uranium space in Saskatchewan. And we've got a portfolio that, again, is responding to our recent exploration efforts, and we're really excited about where that's taking us in 2022 and 2023. And it's a great time to be with CanAlaska. It's a great time to be in the uranium space, and all the fundamentals are strengthening right now, and it's just looking like it's going to be a great future.
So you touch on the fact that it is a good time to be in the uranium space because of what's happening. What's your sense of the demand for uranium growing here in the next 3 to 5 years?
Well, I think that scenario is very real, and there's been a shortfall for a number of years. We know that. I think the activity of Sprott last September really drove home the point that there isn't a lot of free uranium sitting out there, so it's going to have to come from primary production. And there hasn't been any meaningful discoveries. There's been a few, but meaningful discoveries that are ready for production today to fill those gaps. And, what's going to drive the increase? Well, you're starting to see a change in sentiment in the nuclear space where you're having the UK announce 8 new reactor builds over the next 20 years. You've got Germany now talking about not stopping their reactors, so continuing their life. That will consume more uranium. You've got Japan restarting their reactors post-Fukushima. That's been taking a long time to happen, the last 10 years. And now that's picking up pace. You've got new builds happening around the world. Layered on top of that, you've got small modular reactors, these plug-and-play reactors, which are not new technology. This has been around for decades in military use, being applied now to civilian use and opening up jurisdictions where large power plants, like in Saskatchewan here, don't make sense. But if you can bring in these small modular reactors, you're going to have new markets form. And that's all going to take more uranium. It's all going to take more discovery. And these things just take time to get there. So I think the market is ripe for, let's call it another renaissance in the uranium space. And it looks really bright. It really does.
Well, and we cannot discount what the potential impact of the war in Ukraine will be, because we see the reaction of the Germans and other countries saying, whoa, we become far too dependent on Russian oil. We need to have alternative sources of energy. Turning to solar and wind isn't going to do it for us. And so, there is this increased interest in moving to uranium-based fuel sources.
Yeah, absolutely. The world has to get off of fossil fuels. They want clean energy. They want baseload power. They want it 24/7. And solar, wind will be a part of that future. But what do we have at our fingertips today to really make that difference at a large scale that is truly baseload power, that is not fossil fuel driven? That's nuclear. It has to be a larger component moving forward. You're seeing countries committing to it, as we just articulated. The war in Russia is re-highlighting the fact that dependence on high-risk fossil fuels for energy is clearly a risk. And ultimately, with Russia doing what they're doing, you might put at risk about 40% of the world's conversion capacity. And that's a big problem for the nuclear space. So you're going to see all of this starting to snowball and really start to come to the front. And it already is. The investors that know are getting in early in the nuclear space, uranium space, exploration space for uranium, because they see what's coming in the next several years. And there just has to be more uranium found in order to feed the current reactors, but also the ones that are coming. And it has to be low risk energy, cheap energy, and it will allow you to do all sorts of things. And that's what nuclear provides.
I agree, and then there's so many other elements. But before we run out of time, I also want to touch on the fact that you have a world-class sulfide nickel portfolio. That in the 5th largest nickel belt in the world. Tell us about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So for the last 10 years, no one wanted to talk about uranium post-Fukushima. Makes sense. So what could we do for our shareholders to project generate? Well, we went, okay, so you generate clean electricity with uranium. You have to move it, you have to store it and deliver it to the end user. That's going to take nickel in batteries. And not all nickel is the same. You need that pure sulfide nickel. And where in our jurisdiction in Canada do you find some of the best deposits on the planet? It's sitting in the neighboring province of Manitoba, the 5th largest sulfide nickel belt on the planet. Production center there at Thompson with Vale and all their big deposits. We went in and we staked up an incredible portfolio, over 200,000 hectares in the sulfide nickel space, and it is just ripe for future discovery. Now, we're uranium focused, but the story connects, and the future of green energy and clean energy connects between uranium and nickel. So it's a great place to be, and we're currently drilling there with our partner Metal Energy. We're going to be starting that program in a few days. And we're gonna be drilling some nickel, and it's gonna be a really, really fantastic space to be in. We believe in the near term and long term, and we're looking to find partners in that very large sulfide nickel belt. It's been largely underexplored for 30 or 40 years. So new technology is key, and we've got the portfolio to deliver.
So you're focused on 2 different minerals that are essential in the green energy economy moving forward. For an investor who's watching right now, why is this the right time for them to be looking at CanAlaska?
This is the right time because the uranium cycle is coming. For all the factors we've talked about today, we've got the land portfolio in the right jurisdiction for those high-grade tier 1 type uranium deposits like McArthur, Cigar Lake. Our exploration is responding to our recent efforts. We've got the team in place that knows how to make these discoveries and is doing it right now. And we're just in the right part of the Athabasca Basin with the right land, with the right people, and we're well financed and well structured at 100 million shares outstanding and about $13 million in the bank, so we can do what we want to do in the near term. And it's going to be a great 2022. We're looking forward to it.
Well, I sense your enthusiastic energy for the year ahead, and I'm hoping that within that time you'll come back and give us updates on the various projects that you're working on, so that investors can continue to get a clearer sense of CanAlaska. Thank you for your time today.
Absolutely. Thank you, Stuart. Pleasure to be here.